When you have a studio that wants to make a game by taking somebody else's work and changing it into something that is not only the complete opposite, but doesn't resonate or make sense to the entire fan base, you know that you have set yourself up for failure. You have slandered and did a complete middle finger to the author who created it, especially if they're now in the halls of Mandos. But the question on people's lips is, when they see this abomination called Tales of the Shire, why didn't Wata Games create their own version of Animal Crossing themselves? Why did they have to slap the Lord of the Rings skin franchise all over it? Well, I'm going to tell you why, and what's wrong with the future when it comes to investors and video game companies. So, without further ado, hi, I'm Mugs15, and let's dive into this stupidity. If you haven't subscribed to this channel or to my locals, do it now, and let's make a kingdom.
Assemble the army.
So to begin, who is Wata Games, aka Wata Workshop? Wata Workshop is a special effect and prop company, as well as a board game and miniatures company, based in Miramar, Wellington, New Zealand. It mainly produces effects for television and film. Looking at the game studio they have created for themselves, in 2012, Weta Workshop formed its game studio to create the world's first mixed reality Dr. Grawbot Invaders, set amongst ray guns, rocket ships, and deadly robot miscreants, imagined by our friend and colleague Greg Broadmoor. We were approached by Ronnie Abovitz, founder of Florida-based company Magic Leap, to bring this extraordinary world into people's homes. Following rave reviews on its release, we developed 3 more games: Dr. Grawbot Boosters, The Society of Not Getting Along Nicely, and Raygun Arena. Weta Workshop has been nominated for both Visual Effects Society Awards and DICE Awards, and has received a New Zealand Game Award and a Wellington Gold Award. Oh, and by the way, this game was never released in the end, and Magic Leap tried to become the next meta virtual reality, but that flopped in 2022, and in 2024 they had to lay off 75 of their staff and marketing team. So yeah, we're off to a great start. Oh, and by the way, Dr. Grawbot Invaders took 7 years to make, so 7 years right down the toilet. So now we've got the background, let's go into the foreground. Their latest game, the upcoming Tales of the Shire. How the hell did this idea come about, and why investors and publishers were interested to fund this ridiculous idea? When we look into the Q&A, it all makes perfect sense on how Calliope Rider got the gig to make a Teletubby GameCube game in 2025. Did this New Zealand indie game scene influence the creative decision to make a small cozy game versus making a AAA level game right out of the gate? Calliope? I mean, for us, we have to sort of be a bit realistic, right? It would be incredibly hard to go from no game experience to a AAA game. We had to figure out what's right for Wata Workshop. What can we make to give back to the world? What can we make that is something that we really want to work on? Morgan? It really was Weta Workshop driven. Way more organic than you think. It's an organic place. Just have the world's best people and then work out the problems with chewing gum. I mean, that is the sense I get from Richard and Tanya and the rest of the crew all the way down. The other thing I'd say is that, we are aware that this is a game that different people will turn up to for different reasons. It's really important to us that all of them are welcomed with open arms and given the sort of experience that they want to get out of it. In terms of motivations and in terms of demographics, that's really how we've been thinking about it from the opening. But it's also a part of a reason that, Cal's been such a great lead for this project, because she lives in that world, as do the other women on the team, which is really important. With the two different companies collaborating on this game, how have you divided the work between Weta Workshop and Private Division? What does the relationship look like? Morgan. It's a really traditional publisher-developer relationship with a slight difference. It wouldn't be unusual for a publisher to have an IP like Middle-earth, with a game in mind where they were talking to developers and getting developers lined up. But obviously, Weta Workshop itself has a long relationship with Middle-earth Enterprises. So Weta Workshop went to Private Division and said, this is a game we really want to make. Private Division said, we think that's a great idea. They've helped with resources, marketing support, and distribution. They've been really great partners from a production standpoint and helping to manage. There are an enormous amount of different wheels to turn to get a big game made. But when it comes to the game, when it comes to what goes into a game, that is all Weta Workshop. The team are on site or in some cases remote. But it's Weta people making a Weta game, the Weta way, and working with Private Division to get that out to the world. One of the really good things about Private Division, when you look through their portfolio of previous titles, is that they place a really high value on artistic expression and creatives. I think that's a pretty good match for us, because if there's anything that we want to do really well and own more, it's the artistic expression of the Shire. And that's why we always say follow the money, because Private Division Publishing Company is owned by Haveli Investments. And who are they? Haveli Investments is an Austin-based private equity firm that seeks to invest in the highest quality companies in the technology sector through control, minority, or structured equity and debt investments, with a focus on software, data, gaming, of course, and adjacent industries. The firm seeks to partner with innovative companies, entrepreneurs, and management teams throughout a company's life cycle. Haveli's experienced team of investors and diversity industry experts will provide operational and strategic support, enabling portfolio companies to focus on driving innovation and increasing growth, scale, and operating margins. Underscoring Haveli's investments is an unwavering focus on, drumroll please, DEI and sustainability. And it's not just one website, they say this everywhere. And who is Middle-earth Enterprises owned by? Well, none other than the Embracer Group. And to add insult to injury to the Tolkien fans out there, Embracer Group enters into agreement to acquiring IP rights to The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit literary works by J.R.R. Tolkien. Embracer Group AB, Embracer, through its whole owned subsidiary free model, has entered into agreement to acquire Middle-earth Enterprises, a division of the Soul Sentence Company, which owns a vast intellectual property catalogue and worldwide rights to motion pictures, video games, board games, merchandising, theme parks, and stage productions relating to the iconic fantasy literary works of the Lord of the Rings trilogy and The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien, as well as matching rights in other Middle-earth related literary works authored by the Tolkien estate and HarperCollins, which have yet to be explored. Acquired through Embracer's subsidiary Embracer Free Mode, Iconic Holding Inc., and will be part of the operative group Embracer Free Mode. I am truly excited to have The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, one of the world's most epic fantasy franchises, join the Embracer family, opening up more transmedia opportunities, including synergies across our global group. I am thrilled to see that lies in the future for this IP, with Free Mode and As Mode as a start within the group going forward. We also look forward to collaborating with both existing and new external licenses of our increasing stronger IP portfolio. said Lars Wingerfors, founder and group CEO, Embracer Group. Back once upon a time, we had professionals and people who had passion that wanted to preserve a legacy. But now, in modern day, it's all about pushing the message and trying to get as much money as possible, which of course those two things is like oil and water. You can't mix between the two. But we see this time and time again. It doesn't work. You can't make money and you can't push work messaging at the same time. And you wonder why this famous IP has gone to batshit levels of insanity and why this shit on a shingle was created from the get-go. So now we know who funded it and gave them the approval. How did these people like Calliope Ryder get these top positions, and how did the directors pitch this idea to investors in the first place? Well, we watched some of the trailer and remember this word, cozy.
Hobbit Day, we want to share an in-depth look at our beautiful new game, Tales of the Shire. Today, you're going to hear from our team who have been hard at work to bring Tales of the Shire to life, along with cozy content creators.
I just got an achievement for skipping.
Live sim streamers.
Loading up the game and getting into the Shire truly felt like going home.
And even Lord of the Rings aficionados.
Oh, this is adorable. We have wanted something like a life simulator in the Shire for years.
The fact that there hasn't been one before is a crime.
Every single corner you could tell was painstakingly created.
You lie! You lie!
We love hobbits, and with Tales of the Shire, we want to immerse you in their world. That could mean tending your garden season by season, seeing what you can catch in Bywater Pool, or just taking a stroll by the creek and enjoying the day.
We knew that capturing the feeling of the Shire was really crucial to our player experience. The Shire is easygoing. It's a place where hobbits rest in the afternoon sun on a cool summer's day. It's joyous, it's full of the laughter of chit-chatting neighbours, and it's cozy. It's a place where you can cuddle up in your own hobbit hole with a hot cup of tea.
I think what makes a really great cozy game is being able to really get in the nitty-gritty details of like placing clutter on things and making it as cozy as either your real life or making it a cozier space than real life and somewhere you feel like you can go escape to.
You the freedom to put everything where you want. Our system keeps things cozy in the rounded spaces of a hobbit hole.
It's not farming, it's gardening. Everything encourages togetherness and is just quintessentially cozy. It's about being part of a community and building your own place within the Shire.
I think the Shire's a perfect setting for a cozy game. It is this cozy little bubble with all of these kind people and this small community. I think that's exactly what cozy gamers look for when they're going to a cozy game.
I swear to God, I'll pistol whip the next guy that says
cozy.
We actually looked at recipes from the 18th century, some 17th century recipes, some Victorian recipes, because really it's Victorian England is the Shire.
And what your guests have told you they feel like eating, if you want to pull off the kind of meal that Bywater will talk about for years to come.
Do you know how many times I say cozy in the trailer? 15 times in the space of 18 minutes. So this trailer is not for gamers or for Lord of the Rings fans. This is for corporate, to show they're in alliance with the DEI initiative and to say to Embracer Group and Product Division, please don't shut us out of our DEI insurance payout. We have done what you asked us to do. And when you look at the trailer from different console publishers, oh boy, not only did they get ratioed to oblivion, but roasted to cinders. And why, you might ask? Because this game is for lonely wino cat ladies. In short, cozy gamers. But how many cozy gamers are there in the world? Well, according to a subreddit on this genre, there are over 240,000 members, which is an extremely niche number. And they need to make millions, as this is a Lord of the Rings IP. This isn't a brand new IP from the grounds up. they need to make millions. So 240,000 members isn't gonna cut it. But if we want to go even deeper within crunching the numbers, we had to ask these questions. So, of course we know this is going to be mainly females because females like nurture and males like adventure. So how many are females? 55%, which is an obvious number. So now we have the statistics, here's the big question. How many males are Lord of the Rings fans? Well, there isn't a exact number or statistic, but it is a male dominated franchise. So we'll say about 70%, just to be nice. Normally I would say 80 to 85, but we go with 70. And then we go 30% females. Now the last question, so how many fans of Lord of the Rings are there? So we'll go with the date of 150 million copies of the book sold. So now we have 150 million fans. So 70% males. So 70% of 150 million is 105 million. So 105 million males. And then of course the remainder, for 30%, is 45 million. So 45 million of females is a huge number for a cozy game. So this may look good on paper to an investor, but there's one big problem to the formula. Lord of the Rings as a franchise and story is nothing at all cozy or tranquil. Any Lord of the Rings fans knows it's a grim, dark, fictional world. There's always danger around the corner. So you think that a Lord of the Rings fan would want a cardboard cutout of an Animal Crossing or Stardew Valley on their invested, loving IP that they cherish the most? Of course the answer would be an absolute no, and it would be an insult to Tolkien's work. I mean, God's sakes, they want to go out on adventures, they want to go to war, they want to go and slay some orcs, not spend all their time gardening and having dinner parties with NPC Teletubbies. So going back to the 45 million of females being Lord of the Rings fans, how many would you think would want to play a game like this? Well, looking at the ratios on YouTube, cozy games being a niche genre, and Lord of the Rings fans absolutely hating it, it's safe to say they're not even going to get 2 million copies sold. They haven't got a prayer, nor a miracle that will make profit or net revenue. And not even the cozy game community will save them combined. So on execution, seeing the trailers and doing the numbers, it's just going to flop, and it hasn't even been released until next month. Oh, and did I mention it costed the Embracer Group, who owns Middle-earth Enterprises, $395 million in August 2022. You see where I'm going with this? Embracer Group and Haveli Investment knows this game is not going to make bank. So what's the end game? If it's not about money, then what is it? Since there's been a massive trend in cozy gaming thanks to the pandemic, investment companies think that this is the new Valium or olanzapine. Because here's the thing, video games are supposed to be taxing to your brain, from solving problems, shooting out at people, using strategies, working out algorithms, when jumping from one obstacle to the next, and so on. You have a sense of accomplishment when finishing a difficult stage or a boss, to finding a secret pathway that was not on the map, or be rewarded for doing side quests to learn more about the lore and the world of the fictional video game. Cozy games, all those obstacles and adversities, oh, and let's not forget creativity, has been taken away, leading to the player to get from A to B as easy as possible. Now, you would say it sounds like a flash game for babies, which it is, and it costs a lot less money, hiring staff, and time to make. Cozy games for gamers, again, is like oil and water. It doesn't mix at all, and only for people who are not gamers and just want to unwind. And just like the developer said, it's like chewing gum. It doesn't take a lot of effort at all, and you just have to keep on doing it mindlessly to keep the flavour dopamine running. Hence the term extremely niche genre. It is popular in the indie game realm thanks to the success of games like Stardew Valley, which took 4.5 years and only one person, Eric Bologna, made this game, and he now has a $30 billion business. Ever since then, cozy became oversaturated in the indie scene, and people in the cozy game scene are heavily despising them because of how cardboard cutout they are and how it will give developers stupid ideas of taking the easy path and only focus on oversaturating this genre. And on top of that, big investment firms who own gaming companies are trying to work out the divine Eric Baloney code to get a huge piece of the hidden pie first. So it's a no-brainer that Embracer will want to make a cozy game with a worldwide established IP on top. But again, a cozy game, making a cozy game with an IP that is nothing but cozy and rainbows with a male-dominated audience is not going to work, and only drive Lord of the Rings fans away and roast you for free. Oh, and forced DEI is not going to save it either. So here's the ultimate answer. Video game companies and investors want to manufacture the new gaming audience. I always say this all the time. If the end game is not to make money, it's to manufacture and manipulate behaviours and the market. I'm not the only one who can see that, as so-called cozy gamers are realising it too. The big danger of making things comfortable and cozy leads to laziness, and once gamers see the pattern, thanks to their passive skill of pattern recognition, the studios will be called out and boycotts are coming. Because gamers do not want and cannot be fooled or nostalgia baited on. And as we see in this example, it has happened. If they want inspiration into making a so-called cozy game, Nintendogs is an unbeatable example on how to execute one. Especially if you want to bring in more of the female audience without alienating everybody else. And you don't need a well-established IP as your cornerstone either. Have companies have done that? You bet it did, and hence why history repeats itself. After 4 years when Nintendogs was released, the market was oversaturated with bad, sloppy, rushed pet simulator designs everywhere, trying to make a quick buck and trying to get a big slice of that pie. But the reason why Nintendogs is still talked about is very simple. Design and originality, and to bring in more of the female audience. And really, Nintendogs at the time was just used to sell more DS hardware. And this is what these greedy developers, as well as investors, do not understand. You see why Khalip Ryder got the gig now, and why she can slag off gamers when they call her out? Because she's already in cahoots with the investors and the publishers. Khalip is the end product that these greedy gaming corporates want to manufacture and manipulate for years. They always wanted to make cozy sloppy games for ages. Plus, mixed in with the DEI microchip in her brain, she will always deliver the DEI message and be obedient to its doctrine, without them monitoring her. Khalip is expandable and she can be replaced with another one of her. I mean, we've seen throughout the trailer how many of these people with the dyed hair as well as soy boy men that are in that studio. And Khalip is just going to fail upwards. And that's the same with the CEO and writers of Wata Games as well. You have to remember, it's one big cult. We've seen it so many times now for years. In conclusion, Wata Games Tales of the Shire is going to fail upon release. This game is nothing more than a psyop and not to make money. Writers, developers and CEOs are all in cahoots with the Embracer Group and Haveli Investments, so they're not going to be wiped out of the video game industry anytime soon. Hence why I keep saying, go after the investors and the publishers, not the developers, because a new figureweed will be grown back again. You have to slay the root of it all. And it all starts out by not giving them money and go and make your own creativity. Oh, and support the developers and studios that have your best interests. If anyone wants an idea for a hobby game, maybe they should make a game based on the scourging of the Shire. I'm very confident that that will sell like hotcakes. But hey, what do I know? I'm just a video gamer. This is Brooksy15, signing out.